everybody, and welcome to the patch 13.8 preview. Now, a preview means that in 1 week this will go live. It might go live differently, it might go live with changes to it, it might go live with some of these changes not on it. In order to see what actually goes live, you'll have to come back in a week when I will do a video on that. For now though, we have the 13.8 preview, which allows me to give feedback to Riot, which they can then promptly ignore and make the wrong decisions. So what do we have on this patch? I really need a haircut, don't I? So, full 13.8 changes. We landed on pretty known changes to nudge a few champions in and out of meta. We weren't looking to take large swings and get surprise 100% champions. Nerf are targeted at solo queue, barring Rakan and MALPHITE. Pulled Zoe for larger work. No ETA on timeline though. So here's Riot still to this day defending MALPHITE and saying, we're only nerfing MALPHITE for pro play. Nerfs are targeted at solo queue, barring Rakan and MALPHITE. So I don't know why Riot is just like dying on this hill and they're like saying like, oh, we're nerfing MALPHITE for pro play, not solo queue. Like, look at it, my dude. Look at it, Riot. Like, who are you kidding? Like, honestly, I don't understand why Riot is so stubborn on this one, that even when they finally decide to nerf MALPHITE, they're like, all the nerfs are for solo queue, except Rakan and MALPHITE. MALPHITE's being nerfed for pro play. We weren't wrong. We weren't wrong. He's only being nerfed for pro play. Like, I don't get it, man. I truly, it's so stubborn, it's ridiculous. Pulled Zoe for larger work. No ETA on timeline, though. Okay, so what do we have in the actual changes? Alistar is being buffed again, which I'm gonna be honest, is getting a little bit scary at this point. He has reached a 50% win rate and a decent pick rate. I'll show you guys that right here. So he has 17th highest pick rate, right? But like, right, like that's 17 out of 40, right? Like that's an average pick rate, average win rate, 50% win rate, average pick rate, right? So buffing MALPHITE just seems to be at this point to be stubborn. Like, Riot really wants MALPHITE to be top tier as hell, and therefore they are totally unwilling to like not let him be non-top tier. Do you know what I mean? This is like a buff where they're like, this champion will be top tier. You will see him in your games, right? Like, okay. So his ultimate duration is going from 7 seconds to 8.5 seconds, which I'm not sure addresses any of his issues or his counter picks or anything at all. It doesn't address his early game being a bit weaker. It doesn't address the fact that for many matchups he can just sit there and heal the ADC, and that's like all he can do. He can just sit there and heal the ADC with his passive. That's it. Doesn't address anything, but okay. Ezreal's being buffed. Why is Ezreal being buffed? Because I guess he's not a top 3 pick anymore, and he needs to be a top 3. I guess in Masters Plus his pick rate is slightly, the tiniest smidgen of a bit falling off. So my issue with this one though, is I think Ezreal's perfectly fine. Even though they nerfed Navari Quick Blades, I still think he's totally fine. Ezreal's fine at 48%. Buffing his AD by 2. Okay, so we're gonna push him up again, but like, he's a top 6 pick. For him, this is an average win rate, right? And we see that even at the lower win rates, he's got an average win rate, average pick rate, right? Like, so I don't really understand why we're targeting Ezreal. Other than to try to force him into competitive, I can't really think of why we're touching him. Because if Ezreal reaches like 49% win rate, then he starts being overpowered. Because AD carry players, well, I mean, I'm going to be blunt here. AD carry players are really bad at League of Legends and tend to do much worse. But okay. Garen's base damage is being buffed by 3, and his base armor is being buffed by 2. So I actually think that this change is probably shitty for the game. I definitely think Garen like needs the buff. He like definitely needs it, in my opinion, for sure. But my issue is the current top tier Garen build. Let me see if I can show you this. Phase Rush. Yes, as you go up the ranks, the actual best build for Garen is Phase Rush, which is really goddamn annoying. Like it's obnoxiously annoying It's horribly unfun to play against. He just phase rushes into Judgment and then spins away at Mach 10. It's really goddamn annoying. But okay, he does need the buff. So base AD by 3, remember his Q and his E both scale in base damage. So if he hits you with a Q, this is a 4.5 damage buff. Not really that amazing, but you know, 3 damage per auto is pretty good. Judgment also scales on damage. I think its AD ratio is pretty low early game, if I had to check that. So I don't think that this is going to be like a huge I don't think this is going to be like a huge change. Yeah, it's like 32%. So yeah, like his Judgment damage would go up by like 6 tops early game. Once again, not really that big a deal. But 3 base damage is always good. It allows him to trade better. It allows him to like auto attack better. All of those things are better. The base armor buff is also good. It allows him to bling better. It allows him to reduce more damage. So both these things are good. I think this is definitely like a 1, maybe even a 1.5 win rate on Garen right there. So it'll definitely push him up a good bit. Janna is being buffed 10 more damage on her W, an AP ratio buff on her W, and her shield decays slower. So I was actually thinking about this. I'm not really sure why Janna's shield still decays. Like, it was a holdover from basically enchanters used to be like extremely broken, like extremely broken, right? And because they were so broken, they came up with all these nerfs for enchanters. The one Janna has is that her shield starts decaying. Now, originally it decayed instantly. Now it decays after 1.25 seconds. They're changing it to decay after 2.5 seconds. So the reason they did that was because after she built enough ability haste, Janna could shield, the ADC would run up, start attacking, you would break the shield, then a few seconds later they would shield again. And because of that, they gave it a decay so you would not hit that situation. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure why that decay is even still here anymore. But I mean, I guess I get it. I don't know. So, yeah. The shield will decay slower after... Instead of after a little bit, it'll be after the shield is halfway done, it'll start decaying, and then her W will do more damage. That's really right here. So she'll get a little bit more damage, and she'll get some more shielding. Overall, I don't know how much of a buff this is. I'm gonna be blunt, I don't really know where Janna's power level is. She was like obnoxiously giga broken for so long. She got nerfed like 17 times in a row. And like it finally started to work after like they nerfed her like 23 years in a row. So I don't know, like I guess Riot's just, they're content with her being down here. It's probably overall fine. It doesn't... Oh god. I was trying to stay up to do the patch notes, and then I took a little bit of a nap, and then they came out right as I took the nap, and then I ended up sleeping for like 8 hours in my nap. So I guess instead of napping, I just went to sleep. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't really think this Janna's. She's like, yeah. These are actually like good buffs for the most part. I think the Alistar one's a bit sketchy. I don't like the Ezreal one, but like the Alistar, Garen, and Janna buffs are probably fine because they're targeting champions who are actually like not the greatest. Although once again, I think Alistar's average right now. They just want him to be top tier, right? At the very least, we're not like buffing one of the like giga popular champions who just like they're not like, oh my god guys, we're gonna need Fiora to be even better. Her win rate has fallen off from 52. It's, you know what I mean? So okay, so Kha'Zix is getting 10 more damage on his Q. They took 10 damage off his Q a bit ago. Now they're giving him 10 damage again. The changes they did, the reason I said it was gonna kind of be like hard to decide if it was good or bad changes, was because they were changing a lot of things that were only unique to Kha'Zix, like the isolation range of his abilities and stuff like that. So it was kind of hard to decide if it was gonna be good or bad. It ended up underperforming like a little bit, not really that much, not really that big a deal. Kog'Maw's getting a change. Passive damage is going up, which I've thought he's needed his passive damage buffed for a long time. Like half the time you get hit by a Kog'Maw passive, you just stand still and eat it because it really doesn't do anything. So making people actually have to walk away from him again and like dodge it would be nice. Like half the time, I swear to God, people just eat it. They just don't care anymore. His Q cooldown is going down, so it's armor, shred, and magic resist cooldown. I'm not sure about that one. I guess it's less punishing if he misses it, but if he doesn't miss it, or if he's fighting a tank, this allows him to shred armor and magic resist a lot easier, and even if he does somehow miss it or it gets dodged, you know, something like that, this allows him to just hit it again pretty quickly anyway. So I don't know about like removing or reducing the counterplay to a champion who like has like one form of counterplay, like his only counterplay is dodge the Q, you know what I mean? So his E mana is going down, that's his, you know, and he slows. And then the slow value is being changed. Instead of 20 to 52%, it's 30 to 50%. So a little bit less at rank 5, but that shouldn't really be that big a deal. Shouldn't really impact anything. The 30% slow at rank 1 is far more impactful, as well as the reduced mana cost early game. Overall, pretty big buffs to MALPHITE, to Kog'Maw. I don't know if this will push Kog'Maw into the meta. The problem is right now with Lord Dominic's Regards, everyone can be Kog'Maw. Like literally every ADC in the game. You can be Lucian, go Lord Dominic's Regards, and now you're a tank annihilator, right? So like Kog'Maw's role on a team has kind of been eaten by Lord Dominic's Regards. If they really wanted Kog'Maw to be more picked, in my opinion, they should do like a little bit of buffs to him for sure. But I think the biggest thing is they need to nerf Lord Dominic's Regards into the ground. So if you actually want an anti-tank, then you need to pick an anti-tank. You can't just pick literally boom, the Felios, boom, you absolutely annihilate tanks. Lord Dominic's Regards. Xayah absolutely annihilates tanks. Goes Lord Dominic's Regard. Her E does like 1,000 damage to them. They blow up, right? So like until you address that every single anti-tank, or sorry, every single ADC in the game is like a giga anti-tank, then you're never gonna need a Kog'Maw. Like the only ADC in the game right now who could potentially struggle with tanks is Jhin, and Jin's doing just fine right now. So like, you know. Okay, so Leona is being buffed. The armor and magic resist on her W are going up by 10, and then the magic damage on her W is going up by 10. So Leona's been underperforming since the durability patch. I don't know why it took them so long to buff Leona. I think she was just top tier for so long that they like were afraid to buff her, and even these buffs aren't even like the biggest deal. Okay, so 10 damage is pretty good, I'll give you that. 10 armor and magic resist, it's also decent. It doesn't scale until the late game though. Once again, Lord Dominic's Regards and Leona becomes squishy. One of the things that helps the other tank supports be actually, you know, tanky is that they tend to have things that you can't just Lord Dominic's Regards through, like Blitzcrank's shield, Alistar's ultimate, Nautilus's shield. Leona's the only tank support that relies on armor and magic resist, which means that once the AD carry gets Lord Dominic's Regards, Leona goes from like, I can take the hit, to, oh no, don't hit me. So yeah. Lilia is being buffed. The monster damage cap, I'm assuming they mean her passive. They don't say passive, but I'm assuming they mean her passive. The monster damage cap on her passive goes up. The monster healing on her passive is going extremely up. One of the things is that junglers were having a hard time staying alive in the jungle. It was doing too much damage. Like when they went into the jungle at 1 HP, sometimes they weren't entirely at full HP by hitting a cap once. So I'm glad to see that Riot is finally addressing the issue. And then the champion healing on her passive is going up. But so the flat numbers are going down, but the AP ratio is going up. So need, oh yeah. He'll need like 250 AP for it to go up. But once you have 250 HP, it'll be, or say AP, once you have 250 AP, it'll be the same, and above 250, it'll be higher. So it seems what they're probably trying to address here is they don't want you building like Demonic Embrace, Jack Show into you know, like the other the tanky items, you know, like a Dead Man's, a Force of Nature, stuff like that. They don't want you just relying on her base damage and Demonic Embrace. So if you build AP, she'll be a bit better. I think what this will probably mean is that you'll probably do like Demonic Embrace, Jack Show, and then like maybe other AP items. Maybe you won't just build like full tank. I don't know. For Nidalee, 4 more base armor, 0.3 more armor growth. Is Nidalee really underperforming? Where is Nidalee? 10th highest pick, 50% win rate. That seems fine to me. I think if anything, the biggest problem with Nidalee, and this is what a lot of people have mentioned, this is why champions like Nidalee and Zac tend to actually be less popular. They have to sit there, and like when they're doing camps, like Zac has to go like W, 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 W. No, it's actually like, because he has to right click to them, right? So he has to go like right click, 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 right click. And it's just super annoying to play. Nidalee has to sit there and go like R, W, Q, E, R, W, Q, R, W, Q, E, E, R, W, Q, E, R, R, W, Q, E, R, R, W, Q. And it's super fucking annoying to play. It's just super fucking annoying to play Nidalee because of that. That's my take on the matter. I don't think she's like particularly underpowered, as we just saw. I don't think she's underpowered at all. I think the issue is just that she's really, really annoying to play. And annoying champions tend to be less popular because they're annoying. It's much like trying to last hit with MALPHITE was super annoying, so people would just not really play with him. Then, oh, shockingly, when they buffed his E and they buffed his W, and now he can last hit extremely easily by just annihilating the minion wave, shockingly, he's less annoying, so more people are willing to play him. That's at least, that's my take on the matter, at any rate. Okay, so then we've got Poppy being buffed. They're kind of buffing her in the lamest way possible, and like the most boring way. Her Q HP damage is being buffed. Then her W bonus resists are being buffed. This doesn't really make her any stronger, so to speak. It just makes her, like, it does make her stronger, but it like makes her stronger in the most annoying way possible, where Poppy just Q spams everyone in the laning phase, completely forces everyone out of lane really early, right? Like, no one can actually deal with her Q spam, and then she gets outscaled. If you want my opinion, I think the best way to buff Poppy would be to do something like her Q gets health damage based on her level a little bit. Maybe instead of like 8 and now 9% doubled, particularly because in the late game you never double hit your Q. It's really hard to double hit your Q. Maybe the damage of the second Q, instead of buffing the Q target HP damage, maybe the second Q damage should have like a damage modifier that goes up per level. Right? So like maybe at level 1 this second Q does 1% more damage, but then like at level 18 it does 50% more damage. So then later in the game, if you actually lock someone down and force them to get hit by both your Qs, that they actually take noticeable damage. Early game it does noticeable damage. It's pretty easy to early game it's pretty easy against squishy targets especially to lock people down with your ultimate, with your E, and stun them and get them to take both Qs, and then they die. Later in the game, you can stun someone against a wall into a Q, and then it goes like dink, dink. Like, yeah. And then her W bonus resistances go from 10 to 12%, then 24%. Yeah, it seems like they want Poppy to go like tank Poppy again, and it seems like they're trying to push Poppy to be tank Poppy, or at the very least like tank, then maybe Black Cleaver back to full tank. And they don't want her doing like the Divine Sunder or Black Cleaver one-shot build. It's a funny build, but I don't think Riot wants people to like, it's basically a flash stun one-shot build, which is funny, but yeah. They're not buffing Zoe because Zoe, where is Zoe now? Zoe seems to be doing quite good. She's just a bit frustrating to play. So she's also kind of not popular because people don't really like Zoe. Yeah. Acel's getting nerfed again. HP growth down, armor growth down. So once again, I could probably look at this. No, I don't understand it. Nope, Acel's still overpowered at the super low ranks, but I feel like 52% is actually a reasonable number at the low ranks. If I'm gonna be blunt with you, I feel like 52% is fine. Particularly because like he falls off so hard as you rank up. I feel like this is definitely gonna make him unviable anywhere outside of the extreme low ranks. I mean, it kind of sucks because they took Acel and they just made him Mage Garen. But, you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah, so I guess Acel, bye-bye. Yeah, he wasn't really that interesting to begin with. Jarvan is being nerfed, his AD growth down, and his Q damage down. So, 0.4 less AD per level, and then 10 less damage on his Q. So, yeah, not much to say here. Jarvan was a slight bit overperforming, and now hopefully he won't be. I didn't really think he was that bad. I think he was like a bit annoying, and I think he could burst a bit, which it's good that they're nerfing this then. Like, okay, good. No issues here. Kayn Shadow is being nerfed. When he goes into Shadow, his E cooldown will be higher, and the movement speed he gets in his E will be lower. Which, much like this Jarvan nerf, is shocking that Riot is actually nerfing what is annoying about the champion. Like, I understand that like Kayn's gonna run through shadows and be all because like he's a shadow assassin, right? Like, I understand that fundamentally. So like it's gonna be annoying no matter what. But reducing the amount that it's annoying is a good thing, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't need to not be annoying. It's always going to be annoying. It just needs to be less annoying. MALPHITE's being nerfed because pro play. Wink. Pro play. Wink. His W first auto attack damage is going from 30 to 90 to 30 to 70. This should address some of the issues with the W max MALPHITE build where he maxes W and then just sort of runs up and out trades everybody for free. Then his W cleave armor ratio is going down from 20% to 15%. So that's kind of what I thought they should nerf to begin with, because the issue was when MALPHITE does that much sustained damage, it tends to remove any and all counterplay. Because the issue is, like, MALPHITE's got his Q, E, and W, right? So he's got like strong cooldowns. So you want to lock MALPHITE into a long trade, because in a short trade, he'll typically always win them due to his passive and stuff like that, right? But then with his W doing this much damage and having this much sustained damage, 20% of his armor per hit for 6 seconds or something like that, it made MALPHITE really hard to beat in a long trade, particularly because he could WEQ, back off for a little bit, and it was only a little bit, right? Like, once he had his W max, it was only a little bit, and then he could just ult back in, WEQ, and you're dead, right? And it was just like, wait, what? It just made it really almost impossible to actually beat this piece of shit. So, good nerf on that for pro play. Rakan is being nerfed as well. His base armor is coming down, and his armor growth is coming down. So, shockingly, Rakan is very overpowered right now. You might not notice it because of what he does, but he's very overpowered right now. So yeah, good nerfs on that one. Then finally, Cosmic Drive is being nerfed. Item updated, see previous posts. I'm not going to go over it. Basically, the idea is Cosmic Drive is being changed into a stacking item. Each time you hit an opponent with ability, you get movement speed and ability power. That's about it. We'll see if it actually goes live. It seems to have some diverse thinking on it. Let's see, where some people like it and some people think it's a really bad idea. I'm a bit torn, but I think it's a really bad idea for mages to get permanent movement speed. Much in the same way that it's basically a shit idea that ADCs can get 14% movement speed on Phantom Dancer. It's a shit idea if mages can get that high. It's okay for tanks because they're tanks, right? And Force of Nature is fine in my opinion. But when ranged champions start doing it, it starts being a bit bad, because when champions like Vladimir or Ryze start getting giga movement speed and kiting people out, there tends to be no counterplay, because ranged champions outrange melee champions, so if they also outmove you, that restricts your ability to counterplay them really hard. So that is patch preview 13.08. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for being here. Where have I been lately? Well, once again, League of Legends currently crashes a lot. I might play it today, but there's a Total Warhammer 3 expansion coming out tomorrow that I was going to play. If I do play today, I might do it on Kick. I've been experimenting with Kick, to be honest, because so often my YouTube streams get demonetized anyway, that I've often found that, like, I'm gonna be completely blunt, like, if I do not stream, my income only goes down by like 20 to 30%, because they get demonetized so often I can't even play ads on them. So I thought to myself, you know, like, why not try to build up my why not Kick, right? If nothing else, it's a fun little distraction, right? So yeah, I'll probably put a description in the link. I might play League there right now. But for the most part, I have been playing other games. But if you miss me, which I'm sure many of you do, because I'm great. If you miss me, I'll be there. I might play League there today, but again, there's this Total War expansion, Total Warhammer 3, Forge of the Chaos Gods. I was looking forward to that. Not even really the Chaos Dwarves. There's just a lot of changes and map changes that they're doing that I think will make a lot of other factions way more interesting to play. So, with that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. We'll probably play more League next patch. It's just really crashy right now, and on top of all the other shit Riot has done, it's just been really unfun. It's just been really unfun, and I've just been kind of avoiding it. But thank you all, thank you everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.